Okay guys, real quickly, before Google decides to buttfuck us all with this whole real name policy, I gotta say something real quickly. You ever notice how many people always seem to complain that when Japan makes American characters, they're always the stereotypical blonde and blue-eyed type characters? Now, not to say that these complaints aren't exactly warranted. Yeah, there is a little bit of an issue portraying every single American character in most video games and anime as blonde and usually blue-eyed people, because as an obvious thing, not everyone in America represents this type of or is portrayed this way. They're not usually with blonde hair or with blue eyes, nor are the Europeans. But yeah, I've been doing some thinking. Maybe it has nothing to do with how people look in general. Japan is one of those incredibly observative countries, and they overanalyze, and I think I have a reason as to why this is. Maybe it has nothing to do with how people look, and maybe it has more to do with our favoritism towards a certain standard of beauty. And as people know, the standard of beauty in America is blonde and usually with blue eyes. And I think Japan is aware of how we prefer these types, this beauty standard, because look at some of our favorite characters. And let's start off with fighting games. Capcom fighting games in particular, the most popular character, I would be surprised if he wasn't, is Ken Masters. Then you're followed up with Guile, and then usually with Cammy. These are more than likely the three most popular characters in the franchise. I mean, everywhere you go, you always have to get Ken Masters. Then if you go into SNK fighting games, who's the most popular out of that? Terry Bogard. Then you're followed up by King. And the most popular villain would be Geese Howard. If you look into Virtual Fighter, who's the most popular female character? Sarah Bryant. A lot of people were more excited to have her in the next Dead or Alive 5 than Akira or Pai-chan. Speaking of which, the most popular DOA girl, I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't, would be Tina Armstrong. Same thing, blonde and blue-eyed. Tekken, Nina Williams. Of course, some people don't really prefer this character. She did get her own spin-off game. I think in King of Fighters, Shen Wu, or whatever he's called, is getting ridiculously popular, and I've seen a lot of videos where he's played the majority of the time. In Soul Calibur, you have characters like Siegfried. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the most popular character. Then again, there's also Ivy, for obvious reasons. But yeah, Siegfried is ridiculously popular. He's been made the main character even. And even outside of fighting games, you also have RPGs as well. I would not be surprised if Cloud Strife isn't the most popular RPG character out there. And then you have Cynthia from the Pokemon series. Most popular champion character out of the entire series. I mean, the amount of praise that this character gets is ridiculous. In the Mega Man franchise, you also have Mega Man X's friend, Zero. He's ridiculously popular. It is absolutely astounding how popular this character is. And he's not even the title character, actually. What else? You also have Simon Belmont from Castlevania. Many people... The Castlevania fan base is so adamant that Simon Belmont be blonde. They're absolutely insane about it. The picture I'm using also happens to be True Simon. That's the actual name of the picture. They would prefer this character be blonde or some steroid monstrosity from the new game Mirrors of Fate. One character in particular, a comic books character called Captain America. He's supposed to represent all the American values. One of those values is that he's blonde and blue-eyed. I don't think it's a matter of portraying Americans as who they really are. I think it's portraying Americans as who they idealistically want to be as. Since these are the most preferred characters, at least for most American audiences, I would pretty much have to guess that Japan portrays American characters as our own standard of beauty. not because of what we look like in general. Because think about it this way: how does Japan portray their women? They're not realistically portrayed at all, because most of them are kind of flat-chested. You know, just putting that out there. And when you take one look at characters like Mai Shiranu, Kasumi from the Dead or Alive franchise, yeah, they're not really realistically portrayed as Japanese women. To be completely honest, Samus Aran from the Metroid franchise, her reputation has been destroyed, and yet people still love this character. There's no way you can ruin Samus Aran to the point where she can be ruined. And yes, again, blonde, blue-eyed. Most of our favorite characters from video games have to be blonde. It's actually quite a strange phenomenon that we aren't aware of this. I probably wouldn't doubt that Kai Kisuke from Guilty Gear, or Noel Vermillion from, what's that shit, BlazBlue, will probably be the most popular characters out of those games. Actually, I think people hate Jin from BlazBlue too. What was it, about some ice cars or something? Something of that nature. You also got Rock Howard from Garo. And then the one character that people love the most out of Shock Troopers 2 will be a woman named Angel. Of course, that probably is because of, you know, gigantic cannons, and not because she is a blonde character. But in the same stance, she'll be the most used character out of the entire game. How many people do not use Axel from Streets of Rage? Axel, you know, just off the top of your heads, how many of you do not use this character from Streets of Rage? And I think it goes without saying that two characters in particular from the Resident Evil franchise, Wesker and Leon. Wesker and Leon. Tell me, are these two not the most popular characters out of the Resident Evil franchise at this point? I mean, they've already turned Jill into a blonde chick, so she's not the question. So yeah, in accordance to Japan's whole deal with us being blonde, blue-eyed, is more of our preference towards certain characters, and hell, certain females in Hollywood too. That's my take on it. Maybe it's because of our own preferences in blonde, blue-eyed characters that we have American characters portrayed this way, and not because of what we really are. Thank you for your time, and fuck Google if they actually force people to use their real names. Fuck them. Just fuck them.